Shiver me timbers! Hi, it's Neil's Han Dynasty, coming to you live from the basement of the future Dynasty Treasury. Yeah, okay. Be kind, helpful, and grateful. Buy yourself some silver, some platinum, and some crystallized osmium. Like, share, and subscribe. Have a nice night. Talk to you later. No, that's not what this is about. This is interesting. This is very, very interesting. Very, very interesting. Africa is Powerful channel, about an hour old. Mali gives Ukraine a historic lecture at the UN days after cutting ties with them. This is brutal.
To participate in this meeting, essentially to share its deep-seated concerns with regard to the implications and consequences of the supply of weapons to Ukraine, consequences for our countries, for our populations, that are far from the front lines between Russia and the Ukraine. As you know, since the eruption of the crisis between Russia and the Ukraine, the government of Mali has taken a stance of neutrality. And yet, we are increasingly concerned to see this crisis progressively traveling towards regions that are far from the front lines, as you were able to observe last July in Mali, in other words, in the Sahel and even Africa. Indeed, the spokesperson of the Ukrainian Military Intelligence Agency and the ambassador of Ukraine in Senegal both publicly admitted the involvement of their country in the cowardly, treacherous, and barbaric attack on the 24th, 25th, and 26th of July 2024 of terrorist groups that caused the deaths of Malian security and defense forces in Tizawat.
That is the biggest deal I have heard to shut down that war. And if they don't do it immediately, then everyone's pretty much guilty of what this guy's accusing them of.
10 in Mali, along with significant material damage that was caused. Worse, Ukrainian high-level officials publicly announced other, quote, results to come. That is deeply concerning. The government of Mali reiterates its strong condemnation of the presumed support of Ukraine to terrorist groups in Mali, the Sahel, and in Africa. And the government of Mali has decided to sever diplomatic ties between Mali and the Ukraine. Mali calls upon the Security Council to uphold its responsibilities, given the deliberate choice of Ukraine, and it should do so in order to prevent the subversive action that threatens the stability of Sahel and even the entire African continent. Given this vexing precedent that I just denounced here, the government of Mali would like to express its alarm with regard to the supply of weapons to Ukraine, because it's been clearly established that a good part of the weapons supplied to Ukraine then end up fueling terrorism and crime in the Sahel, with the risk of further destabilizing our countries and exacerbating the suffering of our people, already sorely tested by several years of conflict with dramatic consequences. We therefore call upon the countries supplying weapons to Ukraine to ensure that said weapons do not fall into the hands of terrorist and extremist groups in the Sahel and in Africa.
All right, this goes on for another 11 minutes, people. I'm not going to do that to you. You know who gives you the report. You can go watch the rest of the report on their channel. And I encourage you to like, share, and subscribe to their channel too. But basically what I see happening is the Ukraine war is going to come to an end shortly. And all the things that this gentleman here from the Sahel state of Mali, right above northwest of Burkina Faso, one of the three Sahel states that are in that area that have just had coups. From what they just stated, Ukraine and all of the world that's giving their weapons to Ukraine, somehow those weapons are getting funded to the Middle East anti-government groups that do things that they should not do, like, rape, murder, steal, kill, all this other stuff, kidnap. And it seems like Ukraine is actually supporting that type of stuff. So therefore, by proxy, everyone who supports Ukraine is supporting that stuff. So I would look at our administration for supporting terrorism in the Sahel Nation district of Africa, West Africa, more specifically, and make sure that none of those weapons were American weapons, because I take that as a personal affront. Have a nice night.